During my spiritual path, I've discovered that my attitude towards incoming information, or the way I do things and perform my daily practices, changed over time. The distinction between information, knowledge, and wisdom became very clear to me. To illustrate my discoveries, I will use an analogy. I will describe 3 ways of eating food and how it corresponds to receiving information, gaining knowledge, and then converting knowledge into wisdom. When we receive information, it usually happens on a very superficial level. Information comes and we quickly forget about it. It's like putting some food into a mouth, chewing it a few times and then spitting it out. In the process of doing it, we obtained information about the texture, taste, temperature, smell, and judged it if it was to our liking or not. But we didn't actually derive any nutritional value from it or any longer-term benefits. Obtaining knowledge is different. I would compare it to having a meal. You chew your food, swallow it, and it provides you with energy, nutrition, and sustains your life. While you do that, minerals and nutrients get into your bloodstream and are circulated to various organs. The same happens with knowledge. It's about gaining a deeper insight into the subject or an activity you do, so that you can see how it links up with other topics or practices, and how one can reinforce the other. It's about being able to see the broader view from many perspectives. So what about wisdom? Well, wisdom is very different. I could compare it to having a food in a completely different way, in a very holistic and mindful way. It might involve you smelling your food before putting it into your mouth. And then, once you start tasting it, you would allow it to gradually dissolve and mix with your saliva until it's effortlessly swallowed. The food would literally melt in your mouth, and you might even taste it way after it's gone. In a way, you become the food you eat, and the food becomes you. In this magical, alchemical process, wisdom emerges. You bond so perfectly with it that it becomes an intrinsic part of you. You start to breathe it and live it. This is the moment when true wisdom is revealed to you. We all have capacity for obtaining information as well as gaining knowledge from it and finally converting it into the deepest wisdom. The thing is that the vast majority of us are mostly interested in obtaining information, while not devoting time into converting it neither into knowledge nor wisdom. This means that our minds are bombarded with meaningless jumble of information or senseless activities that never get a chance to nourish us, but rather create further commotion in our minds and deplete our energy. Over time, I've observed my own transition from being a compulsive hoarder of information and starting many new practices that didn't seem to work for me, to being more interested in knowledge, and finally reaching the point that now I cherish those magical moments when I get to discover life-changing wisdom from often ignored and misunderstood information or practices. It's like discovering an old book in a tattered cover that everyone dismisses, and yet containing the secrets and deepest wisdom of all creation. Of course, it's up to you how you approach this recording. Perform meditation or some other spiritual practices you might do from now on. But I thought that it might be an interesting experience for you to stop from time to time and consider that maybe there is more magic to life than you think. All the best to you, my dear friend, and speak soon.